Hi everyone, it's Belinda. Welcome to Belinda's Knitting Cafe. It's been a really long time since I made an episode. Basically, went on vacation in November and just haven't filmed since. So I thought that I would just do kind of a what I knitted over the fall and winter season and what I finished. Talk about that today, and then hopefully I will start making more videos. So today for our drink we have coconut water, because what is more refreshing during the warm seasons than coconut water? So I'll take a sip. And it is good. It's actually sweet today, because you never know with coconut water, sometimes it's not so sweet. So this is a bit of a new filming location. It's not really, it's a new backdrop. It is my shelf. In January I did some redecorating in my room, and so I put up a shelf, and now I can display some fun things up here. And my yarn, can display that. My pictures of Min Yoongi from BTS, and I also got this dresser here and a mirror, and I got some things that I can hang up, so now I can display my beautiful yarn and more pictures of Min Yoongi and then more fun stuff. So I just have some of my swatches up here. Most of the time I unravel my swatches so that I can maximize my yarn quantity. So these are just the ones that I have here, and I have a lot of FOs to share with you that I finished during the fall and winter season. Yeah, so I think we should just get started because there's a lot of them. So the first one, I guess I'll talk about what I am wearing. It is the Camisole. I wrote them down. It is the Camisole number 4, but my favorite thing is the Knitwear, and I made it in size small. If you can see it. Jump. I'm wearing leggings. I made it a little cropped because this is actually, so this is made with Spincycle dyed in the wool. The color is Cold Comfort, and I used that to make my Attune shawl, which last time we spoke my shawl was not finished, but now it is finished. And so I had an extra, I think 2 skeins of Spincycle, and so I made this camisole. And because I feel like my shawl is a little shorter than I wanted it to be, I decided to make my camisole a little more on the cropped side, so that if I had leftover yarn I could extend this, because I was knitting the brioche section. This is the Spincycle, and then the white is the Farmer's Daughter yarn, Reminisce Sport, in the color Natural, I believe. So I was knitting the brioche section, and then I was like, oh shoot, I should start the I guess like garter section. And then I kind of ran out of yarn. So my garter section is pretty small compared to the rest of it and compared to the pattern, and I was hoping to extend it. I just tried on. It's very nice. Could wear them together, and I was thinking they'd be just like a nice throw on in the spring, in the summer. It hasn't gotten that warm where I live yet, which is Minnesota. I think our warmest days have been like 70, and we haven't had many of them yet. So actually this is probably like the first time I'm actually wearing my camisole. So we'll see how it fares in warm weather. It is not that fitted, actually. I'm considering that maybe I should have knit the smaller size, but it's knit bottom up, and I already made it this far and it's already done. So unless it like stretches out a lot, I probably won't reknit it. But if it does stretch out a lot, I will need to reevaluate. So this is how it turned out. Oh, it looks very nice on camera. Yeah. So I don't know when I will get around to to adding to the bottom. I don't know, maybe when I run out of things to knit, I will do that. So for the most part, I am happy with my Attune shawl. It is hard to show. It's like an asymmetrical triangle, and I don't know if I mentioned it's by Andrea Mowry, but I don't know how I like the asymmetrical triangle look. Like, it does fit me pretty well. Like, my arms are covered for the most part, which is what I kind of wanted for a shawl, just more like a publicly wearable blanket versus like one of those there's people who like to wear it more like a wrap, like a scarf thing, which I guess that's cute too. Like that. Oh, this color looks so nice on the camera. Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about that, the asymmetrical part of it, but yeah, it's done. That is my first two finished objects, and then I'll just toss that on the ground. What is next? Also by Andrea Mowry. I made socks. These are the DRK Everyday Socks. I don't know how well you can see it. There it is. I was knitting these. I started them when I went to Disneyland for my birthday in December because I thought it would be a nice like line weighting project, and I think I was knitting 2 at a time onto 2 like circulars, and when I was at Disneyland I actually did not get very far, maybe like this much, and then I finished the rest at home. It went pretty well. I am not a big sock wearer, which is why I'm hesitant to knit socks, but I think it is kind of nice to be knitting these like really small gauges. It's like very satisfying to look at how neat your stitches are. So perhaps I will be making more socks in the future. I do like how their socks are mostly like a one skein project, so it's nice if you only want to get 1 skein of something, and because you get 1 skein, it's relatively not as expensive as a sweater project. So I don't know, maybe I will make more socks in the future, or maybe what I really should do is make socks for my mom, because my mom loves wearing socks all the time and I don't like wearing socks, like, ever. Okay, so that was that one. Oh, the yarn is from my stash, some sock yarn. I tried to find the tag, but I could not find the tag, so it was just some sock yarn that I had. And so far it's worn well. Let me see, what should I talk about next? I think in my last podcast I was also talking about my Donna Jenna. So here it is. This is a test knit I did for Joanna, and I used Nutiden Ägt Rum, 344 grams. So this is how it turned out, which I really like. I do think that I could have sized up. I think in the pattern it calls for 10.75 US needles, which is like this, maybe that's just like the 7mm. But I didn't have it at the time, and so I used the 10.5, and I think I should have just sized up to the 11, just because like you can see kind of the cables have lost a little bit of definition just because of the yarn, and is a bit of a tighter gauge. So I think I could have sized up on the needle. I do like it. I really like the structure you get from knitting with rustic yarns. But this Nutiden, I don't know. In comparison, I do have a different Nutiden that I use to make like a pink sweater. And that one is a lot softer. Like, I wear that one frequently next to skin and I have no problem. But this one is kind of pokey. And then the threads kind of get stuck in your shirt if you wear a shirt underneath, and then they just kind of fall off. So as I was wearing it, especially like the first couple times, I was just kind of like shedding unexpectedly. But I do like it. When I brought it with me when I went to Italy, and I can put some pictures here, and I wore it quite a bit. It was really nice. What I really like about the Nutiden and knitting with unspun is just like how light you can get your garments to be. Like I said, this was 344 grams. So yes, I like it. I like the pattern. It was pretty quick. I think I knit it in like 2 weeks because it was on such big needles. and I am a fan of cables. Oh, one modification I did make was my cast off. I did Italian like tubular bind off instead of binding off in pattern, which I think turned out really well, and I don't know what else to say about it, but it looks cute. I like this green color. And I also used this color for a different sweater. It is the Hytte Jumper. Oh, I made the Donna Jenna in a size small. And the Hytte sweater, I also made it in a size 3. This is by the Petite Knitter, the pattern. Color work. So I used that Nutiden Ägt Rum for the green, the contrast color, and then for this gray, it's the color in Special, something like that. Hopefully that showed up. It also has a little bit of color work by the sleeves. So I don't know, I have a little bit of mixed feelings. I have not worn this sweater that much. It is pretty light. I have not weighed it, so I don't know actually what the yarn quantities were for making this, but I feel like my neck just came out kind of weird. Like, it's weirdly big. And I don't have any pictures to show you. I guess I could try it on. Let me try it on. But, and then I also, when I originally knit it, I made my sleeves too long. So here's the weird neck. I don't know. It's like, I guess it looks fine on camera. I guess it does look really fine on camera. Look how nice the color work is. But I just feel like it's a little weird. I don't know. It's kind of like too long and too wide. My gauge must have been off, but I don't think there was a gauge given for ribbing. And then if you fold it, it just kind of looks weird. So you kind of have to keep it up. It is just kind of awkward. And so, okay, anyways. But when I first knit it, I knit the sleeves too long, which I think just looked really weird because of the kind of fabric this creates. Is a bit more structured fabric, and it just like looked awkward. It was like this long. And then I I like unraveled actually all the way back to here, and now I feel like it's too short. So I don't know. I probably can block it out to be a little bit longer, because when I redid it, I only blocked the part that I reknit instead of the whole garment. But that's kind of how it ended up. It actually looks good on camera. It looks pretty good on me. Satisfying. And I don't know, that's all I have to say about this. It was kind of a nice, quick, I do like working with Nutiden for the, like, you don't have many, what are they called? Loose ends to weave in, because you can just squish it together and keep knitting. So that's nice. And I just like, I haven't got much worn out of this because I had to fix the sleeves, so I just like put that off for a really long time, and then by the time I actually did the sleeves, it got warm. So I think I just wore it once or twice, but I think it did turn out, the color work part turned out nice, and it looks nice on camera. So that's that. And what is next on my sleeve? I will talk about this one. This one I made a bit more recently. It is the Cardigan number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I used one strand of Woolen Works, DK, I think it's a superwash, me as a bird, and then one Surrey alpaca, and I did helical knitting basically, or alternate. I did alternate skeins because I had multiple skeins, and there were some that were quite different from each other. I made the size, what size is it? Small. And this is yarn I got on a vacation when I went to Australia last year, so it's just been sitting in my stash, and I was like, I should make something out of it. And I like how it turned out. It's not done because I need to make buttons. I'm thinking of making ceramic buttons for it, and it also hasn't been blocked, so, you know, take this fit with a grain of salt. It should loosen up quite a bit, especially since it's superwash. I don't know why these sleeves look a little small, but it's fine. It's good. And it's very soft. And I think it'll be pretty drapey because it is superwash. Yes, so probably we'll see it again in the future once I make buttons and I block it. I think it'll be a nice like layering piece for the transitional seasons, of which spring is coming to an end. So we'll see if I get to wear it much before the summer. Next, I have my Instant Crush by Joey Locatelli. This is in the size 3. And this project was difficult to get through. Oh wow, look at those colors. So I used mostly scrap leftover yarns for this. So there's quite a long list. The dark blue is La Bien Aimé's Winterfell. And then held double. Then the lighter blue is La Bien Aimée Hegelia mixed with Rowan Color Brook, like their mohair. And then the white is Laying Yarn White and mixed with Pasquale Mohair Bliss White. And then the hot pink is Ito Sensei in the color Azalea. And I think that's everything. So I had a lot of trouble with getting gauge on this. I had to size up, I think, 2 needles to the US 8. I think the original was 6. And I had knitted a fair amount of it in the old needle size. And I actually knit this part in the, I think it was like a 2.5 US. I guess I should have looked it up. But in the whatever needle size was recommended for the ribbing, and it ended up being like pretty small. So when I actually did the sleeve ribbing and the body, I think I used a different size. I'm gonna use the 4. I think that's what I did. And so it does like look really nice. Like the colors I think are really nice, and it was good to be able to use just stuff I had in my stash, given I did have to buy just the one Pasquale white because I wouldn't have enough to hold it double. But here it is. I don't know, it just kind of took a while. I think it's because some of the floats, just like dealing with the floats, and then I actually have not woven the ends because there are a million ends on this. I was gonna get my mom to do it, but I guess she hasn't gotten around to doing it yet. There are just like a lot of ends for whenever the color changes, and just because it's mohair, it's fairly transparent, even though, I mean, it's like transparent, but it's not. But you do, I think, when you're weaving, and then have to be careful about where you put it. Because like even if you look, I don't know, if you look closely at the white section, if you can see like the pink underneath it or not. But I think the colors turned out well. I was doing this as a buddy knit with my friend Lindsay, and she did hers in very different colors from mine. So I think it was fun to see how our color choices and style are different, and I guess like what you can do with just the pattern. Like everyone's pieces are unique to them, their style and their color preferences. And I think the fit is pretty, because I was worried about not having enough yarn. That's why I knit the 3, which I think doesn't have that much ease for me, or I don't know how it ended up does not have that much ease for me. It fits pretty like fitted, like my sleeve. It's pretty fitted. You can see it. I mean, okay, here we go. It's pretty fitted. There's not much ease over here, but it's cute. I have worn it once, and yeah, I did not weave in the ends. So, living on the wild side a little bit. Okay, next project I have is my Easy Mittens with Thrums. So I have worn them a bit, that's why they look a little messy. For the roving, I use Malabrigo Nube, and they're like natural. That's what the inside looks like. Fluffy. And then on the outside, I don't know, it's like some stash worsted yarn that I have, and they're really nice. I think they're great for the winter. They're a little bulky to drive with, but they're great for dog walking, because on those windy, cold days, the wind doesn't go into your mittens. So these are my mittens. I did a little mod. I made them smaller than the pattern. The pattern's by Debbie Wilbur. Yeah. And because my hands are, I think I made like 4 or 8 stitches left and less than in the pattern. And then my decreases are, I just did a little something different because I think my length was a little different, and so I decided that the way I wanted to decrease it would look better in the way, I don't know. I think I did slip knit instead of knit 2 together. And I think just because of the way the Thrums lined up that it ended up looking better. So these are my mittens. I'm not much of an accessory knitter. Only when I need them is when I knit them. And then I have my Artus Shawl. So this was an unexpected cast on. You can see it. I hope. I'm looking through the shawl. Okay, isn't it pretty? There's so many beautiful colors in here. I went to this local yarn store with my friend, and I just like saw this kind of a fade on the shelf, and I was like, ooh, I really want that. And so I bought it. My goal this year is to knit more of my stash and like try not to buy so much stuff, so much yarn. And I think looking at my pile that I have thrown on the floor, most of these things have been in my stash. At least the ones that I have worked on more recently. So I really like how this turned out. It's the yarn is from Anthology Yarn Co. And the colors are Anthology Yarn Co. Meadows. That's the base. It is a like a non-superwash fingering. It is pretty light, and I think it is a bit of like a thick fingering, which is why I ended up using it for this one. So the olive is called Trout Lily, maple is the brown, and then the white is drop seed. Fiddlehead is the darker green, and then peat moss is the brown gray. That's the way I should have held it. Now I can actually see what you're looking at. And I really like how it turned out. So I can just throw it out. It is symmetrical. I've been wearing it a lot when I go into the office at work. Just sticking it in my bag and wrapping it around my shoulders if I get cold in the office. I like that it is light. It does have a bit of a woolly smell to it, but that's kind of how it is. I think. And then on the end is it's like a 7-stitch I cord, which it's not focusing, which is kind of weird. I don't know. It leaves like this kind of a gap over here, but I think it looked fine. Especially after I blocked it, I think it looked great. It looked like nice, and I love like these 3 colors together. The brown and the white and the olivey green. I think my camera cut out when I was going to talk about how this is mosaic knitting. So it's my first mosaic project, and I enjoyed it. I think, I don't know, I think like with mosaic you can get different kind of patterns than you would with stranded knitting, but I might like stranded knitting a little more because it just kind of like felt like it took forever. You would do one color at a time, and it just felt like it took forever, versus like stranded and your stuff is just like popping up in multiple colors at the same time. But I do think you can get really cool patterns out of it, and it reminds me a lot of Lao traditional clothing, which is woven, and so you get a lot of like geometric patterns when you're weaving, and the geometric diamond pattern just reminds me a lot of that. So that is this project. Now I'm gonna take a drink. And my last one to share, I've cleared off almost all of my dresser, is this one. It is a vest that I guess I self-drafted for my dad using my hand spun. So this is Border Leicester, and it is the fleece from the fleece that I worked on this summer with my friend Lindsay, and my dad helped us a lot with cleaning the fleece and processing the fleece, so I thought I would make him something out of the yarn that we created together. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty simple. I started with like a cast on for the back neck, and then I did increases, and then I picked up for the front, and then just like did increases to make a circle neck, and I did some increases here just for some shoulder shaping, and it actually looks really good on him. It fits him really nicely. I did follow a little bit of another vest that I had made him before. I tried this on myself. It does not look so great on me because I think it has a bit of a wider square look, which fits more of his body type versus mine, and I think it's nice. I think the yarn itself is it's pretty rustic. It is not the softest thing, and I think because of the way that we processed it and how I spun it, I think I knitted this on a size 9, so I think it came out to be a bit more of like a heavy worsted Aran weight, a little bit of thick and thin, but I mean, just looking at it right now, it evened out quite a bit. It is a bit heavy, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think it'll be nice. He's worn it once so far because I finished it in March, and so it's been like fairly warm ever since then, but I'm sure he'll get a lot of wear out of it when it's winter again and when he's walking my dog. So that was it for my finished objects from the fall and winter season. Quite a bit of knitting. And should I talk about my works in progress? I'll talk about them 1 second. Okay, this is my current project. It is the Aurelia Pullover by Sari Nordland. Focusing. An all over cable sweater with some baubles, and I am using Big Little Yarn Co. Polar DK in the colors, what is the colors? Kodama is this first one, Kappa is the second one, Kirin is this one, and then this I just added on a new ball. It is called Kitsune, and then the last one is Wanuro, which is right here. So these are the next two I will be adding, and it's kind of a crazy concept to make an all over cabled sweater in a multiple colors, but I do like love it. I don't know, sometimes when I'm working on cables I'm just like, more is more, like why would you not? And I really am enjoying it so far. I think having the multiple colors and like the single skeins, because they're variegated, I only have one skein per color. I don't have to deal with alternating skeins, so that's really nice. And then because I have multiple colors, it kind of motivates me to keep going, because at this point it's very repetitive. So far, like I'm on the body and the sleeves, like obviously I'm doing them all at the same time so that they're pretty equal. And like the sleeves are only changing in that they're decreasing a little bit, but the body is the same. For my size is like 11 inches of the same body, so I think having the multiple colors has been really motivating. I need a drink. It's been really motivating to keep working and just like get to the end of the color and then starting a new ball. I am knitting the size, I want to say the size like a medium. Maybe that's like the size. I'm not sure. I'll put it here, whatever size I'm knitting. I know that I sized up one because I wanted to make it oversized, but I didn't have enough yarn to do like 2 sizes of, which is what I typically do when I want like a really oversized garment. And I think this one will be, I don't know if it's going to end up being oversized. Like, it certainly will be a fair amount of positive ease on me, but we'll see, because I was worried about, what is it, having enough yarn that even in my collar, I don't know if you can tell, but I actually used a different color, like right here. It's like left over from my other Big Little Yarn Co. Trying to think of the name. I can't remember the name. I'll put it here. But it's left over from that, and I just held it double because it's a fingering weight. And because the green is like pretty similar, I thought if it's on the inside, like no one can really see it. I knit with the Kodama. That's the first one, yeah. A couple rounds, and then I knit with the other yarn. And because it's on the inside, no one will see it, and it's close enough a green color that you really can't tell. It's folded double, but I'm enjoying it so far. I think I've been working on this maybe 3 weeks, like 1 week per ball of yarn, so I'm making good progress. I just have 2 more left, so that's probably like 2 more weeks of knitting, and I think I will have enough to finish it. I think it was kind of funny, like, you know how they say that different colors will yield like different amount of, like a different kind of a yarn, because they're all in the Pole Bark DK base, but I think the green ones are a bit thicker or more like plush, versus this, what is it, orange one is a little, ended up being a little thinner. So I've just been knitting it on the same. I did size up a needle to the size 7 for my gauge swatch. I think that would matched it, or it was just like, it ended up being a better fabric. I think it will like loosen up more after I block it. I tried it on and it fits for sure, but we'll see how it ends up. So that is one work in progress, and I have another. This is my Slightly Sassy V by Amy Sher, and I actually have needle stoppers on. I can get it out. Okay, well, I got one out, and this is where I'm at so far. It's not very far. Let me see. It's gonna show up. Hide my face. There it is. It's in the color Teddy. It's by Emma's Yarns, I think. I have the tag right here. Emma's Yarn in Super Silky. It is a 20% silk, 80% superwash merino, 400 yards in the color Teddy. And this is what it's looking like so far. I'm not very far on it. I'm just doing the increases, and I haven't joined yet, but it's going well, and I like how it's turning out. I think the color will look really nice on my skin, just like a nice golden that is a little deeper than my actual skin tone. So we'll see, and I'm hoping I can wear this as a nice like spring summer top, maybe on like the cooler summer days, because it does have wool in it, but I think I prefer knitting wool blends versus just a summer fiber. So that's how that's going. And then my battery is gonna die, so we'll see if I can finish my outro. Thank you for joining me for Belinda's Knitting Cafe. Hopefully I will be posting more in the future, and I actually would like to maybe expand it to just like making, because I've been doing a lot of other crafting, primarily pottery, but I would like to share those things with you as well on my podcast, and then maybe even talk about like just what I've been up to, like if I'm reading anything, listening to anything, watching anything. So we'll see when I get around to doing that, or when I have another video. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again some other time.